After 70 years of life, many parents believe their voice becomes more important than ever. They feel, if I don't guide my children now, who will? But life has a strange wisdom hidden inside it sometimes. The more you speak, the less your children hear you. And sometimes, the more you step back, the more they grow forward. There is a silent turning point in every family when love must change its language. It must move from instruction to blessing, from correction to acceptance, from control to trust. Because your children are no longer children, they are adults carrying their own battles, decisions, and storms. And here is the uncomfortable truth. After 70, your silence can become more powerful than your advice. Not because your words lose value, but because your peace becomes their strength. The question is not whether you still have something to say, the question is whether your silence can finally say enough. 1. From constant advice to conscious silence, the transformation of love. There comes a stage in life when love must change its language. In the early years of parenting, love speaks loudly. It instructs, corrects, warns, and protects. Every sentence begins with you should or don't do that or listen to me carefully. This is natural because when children are young, guidance is protection. But after 70, something subtle changes. The child who once held your finger to walk now holds their own family, their own responsibilities, and their own decisions. Yet many parents continue speaking to adult children with the same intensity they once used when they were 5 years old. Let me tell you about Mr. Sharma again, a retired school principal. He was a man of discipline and wisdom. His son had become a successful professional in another city. Every week, Mr. Sharma would call him with love, but also with a long list of instructions. Don't skip meals, be careful with money, don't trust people too easily. Always remember what I taught you. He believed he was being a good father. But slowly, something shifted. His son stopped sharing details of life. Calls became shorter. Excuses became more frequent. There was no anger, but there was distance. One day, during a visit, his son gently said, "Papa, I already know what you are going to say. I don't need more instructions. I need your peace, not your pressure." That sentence stayed with him. For the first time in decades, Mr. Sharma became silent not out of ego, but awareness. He realized that his voice, once a source of guidance, had slowly become a source of weight. So he changed. Instead of advising, he started listening. Instead of correcting, he started smiling. Instead of controlling, he started trusting. And something beautiful happened. His son began calling more often. Conversations became lighter. Love felt fresh again, not because words increased, but because unnecessary words disappeared. This is the first truth. After 70, love matures when advice reduces and silence increases. Because silence is no longer emptiness, it becomes acceptance. And acceptance is the highest form of love a parent can offer an adult child. Point 2. Silence as trust, the greatest blessing a parent can give. There is a very thin line between concern and control. Many parents never notice when they cross it. Concern says, "I worry about you." Control says, "I know better than you." After 70, children do not need constant concern expressed through words. They need trust expressed through silence. Let me share the story of Mrs. ITR from Pune. She was a loving mother whose daughter lived abroad. Every video call was filled with affection, but also interrogation. "Are you eating properly? Why are you working so hard? You should have chosen a simpler life." These were not said with anger, but with love mixed with fear. But slowly, her daughter began to withdraw. Calls reduced. Conversations became brief. The emotional closeness started fading. A counselor once told Mrs. Aitia something simple. "Your daughter is not asking for your correction. She is asking for your trust." That sentence changed her. She decided to stop giving advice unless asked. Instead, she began ending calls with simple words. "I trust your decisions. I am praying for your peace. I am proud of you." At first, it felt unnatural. She felt she was doing less as a mother. But in reality, she was doing more. Within months, something shifted. Her daughter started opening up again. She shared her struggles, her achievements, her fears. And one day during a visit home, she said something emotional. "Ma, I feel closer to you now than I did when you were trying to fix my life." This is the power of silence rooted in trust. It tells your children you are capable, you are responsible. I believe in your journey because after 70, Your role is no longer to direct their path, but to bless the path they are already walking. Point 3. Emotional independence, allowing children to breathe without guilt. One of the deepest challenges in family relationships is emotional dependence disguised as love. Sometimes parents unintentionally make children feel guilty for living their own lives. Statements like "you never call enough," or "you don't care about us anymore," or "we sacrificed everything for you" may come from pain, but they place emotional weight on adult children who are already carrying their own world. After 70, children need emotional freedom to love their parents without pressure. Let's consider the story of an elderly couple in Chennai. Their son was living in another state. Every time he failed to visit frequently, the mother would become quiet and the father would express disappointment. Slowly, visits became obligations instead of joy. One day, the son decided to be honest. "I love you both deeply, but I feel anxious when I come home because I feel I am always failing you." That moment was a wake up call. The parents realized they had confused love with expectation. They were demanding emotional presence instead of allowing emotional freedom. So they changed. They stopped measuring love in visits and calls. They started celebrating small connections. A short call became enough. A message became a blessing. And something surprising happened. The son started visiting more often, not out of guilt, but out of joy. This teaches us something profound. Emotional independence strengthens relationships, it does not weaken them. When children are not emotionally burdened, they naturally return with love. After 70, your silence should say, "Live freely, love freely. I am emotionally at peace with your journey." Point 4. Spiritual maturity, standing back like a witness, not a controller. There comes a stage in life when parenting evolves into witnessing. You no longer shape lives, you observe them unfolding. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna does not fight Arjuna's battle for him. He guides, he supports, but ultimately he steps back. Why? Because growth requires action, not dependence. Similarly, parents must eventually step back from directing and step into witnessing. Let me share the story of an elderly man in Delhi who once said, "When I stopped trying to fix my children's lives, I finally started enjoying them." Earlier, every decision his children made was questioned. Every mistake was corrected. Every struggle was intervened in. He believed he was helping, but in reality, he was preventing growth. Later in life, he changed his approach. Instead of reacting, he reflected. Instead of interfering, he observed. Instead of controlling outcomes, he prayed silently for strength. His children noticed the change. And interestingly, they began seeking his advice again, not because it was forced, but because it was peaceful. This is spiritual maturity. When your presence becomes light, not pressure. After 70, silence is not withdrawal, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that life is a journey each soul must walk independently, even if lovingly connected. When a parent reaches this stage, they no longer say, "Do this." They say, "I trust your journey." And that trust becomes the invisible strength that empowers children to succeed without fear. Final reflection after 70. Your greatest contribution to your children's success is not more advice, more correction, or more involvement. It is peaceful silence, because in that silence, children do not hear absence, they feel trust. And where there is trust, there is freedom. And where there is freedom, there is growth. And where there is growth, there is true success.